Hello, this is Victor and I want to do a tutorial on how to paint the Harlequin's jet bikes or Harlequin's Skyweavers. This is the first one that I paint, is where I practice and I to learn how to assemble and how the color scheme is matching. So the bike is done at this moment, and then I will show you how to assemble it, how to do it in a way that also this, you can see, is exchangeable, and I can have this one and the shuriken cannon. I will focus mainly on the bike itself. I will not talk about the crew, except the assembly and some tips to make the weapon exchangeable on the copilot, no, on the copilot. The painting I will not focus because, as you can see, it's very similar to the paint job that I did on the Harlequin troops. So if you want to know how I do the crew, how I paint the crew, you can go directly to the link where I explain how I paint the Harlequin players or the Harlequin troops. So the first part is assembly, and I will start now with the assembly. I have to say that the instructions supplied with the kit are very good. I think they're quite easy to follow. Just pay attention and follow how, if it's your first kit, follow the instructions carefully, because there are some tricky parts. But I will say that it's not a difficult kit to assemble, and this is going to be the fourth bike that I assembled the other two. I assembled all the other three quite easily. So the first part is to assemble the body, and this is composed of two parts. These are parts 1 and 2 in the kit, and are the same for both bikes. So you will see that you have normally 2 sprues of bikes in your box. So this is one of. So, and then I put some glue on. You don't need to put glue everywhere, just on some key parts. Assemble them together, and then I always recommend to have some clamps to keep it clamp. In that case, we want that this first part is very well, so we clamp it and we leave it side. I'm using for to assemble this. I will use thin plastic for glue with this dispenser. I think this is the best way to apply. Prefer this to the brush. So while the body is the glue we wait that the glue is dry. So we are going to assemble the other parts of the bike, and this is the nose or the front part of the bike. Be sure that you eliminate completely these flashes, because these go inside like that, no? And if you don't eliminate it well, the flashes will be difficult to put in. So in that case, again, I put some glue. We'll put some glue here. And on the other side. And as you can see, it doesn't matter if you go a little bit down. So you can see I prime the parts on the sprue, and this is not a problem in the assembly, because the glue will melt the paint and the plastic together, and you will have also a good joint. So you can see I put this together, and we can use another clamp to keep this together. Okay, so we have two parts assembled now. So I wanted to explain that I'm using clippers to remove the parts, or to take the parts off from the sprue, and then I use the modeling knife to eliminate the flashes if needed. So here again. Okay. Now we are going to assemble these. These are the wings and the back part of the bike. This is maybe the most tricky part to assemble. So this goes like that. Okay. Let's eliminate this. This will go like that. So I always test the parts before gluing them. So we are going to put some glue here. And very little glue here. And we go like that. Here there is not a way for me to clamp it, so I just wait a few seconds to be sure that the plastic starts melting and everything it's gluing together. Be careful that you do it correctly and you don't bend in any direction to be able that to assemble this right. So this may be the most difficult or the trickiest part, and you have to be careful that it's completely parallel. Look both sides, that the joint is flat and you don't see big slot. If there is a big slot in one of the two sides, means that the pieces are not, so have to be like that. Don't put them like that or the other way around. So I put them also to the side, and now we will take this part back and we are going to follow. As you can see, I did know in the instructions this was a step 1 and was 1A and B, because this is part of the step B and the nose. And now we are going to go back to the main body. This should be now dry, and we can put some of the elements that goes here. So in the first step also we need to take off what I mean. This was the first bike, and here we have the sprue of the second bike. So I will remove the parts from the sprue and I'll be back just to show you. So to take off these parts from the sprue, you put the clippers, put the flat part facing the piece that you want to remove, and you cut it. I think it's the cleanest way to remove the parts from the sprue. So I remove the parts and I'll be back in a minute. I have to say that up to now all the parts will be pretty accessible once they are assembled, so we can keep assembling them, and we know we are going to assemble this part here. Okay, and you can see the joint is very good. Even this that is not glue, this will remain in position. I will glue because there is no way, there is no reason not to glue it, but the joints are pretty good. So if you do a good assembly, the joints are going to be very, very good. I think they do these kits very well done. So we put this here. We're going to put the controls here. The controls is facing like that. Okay. You can see that they are very well integrated in. Okay, be sure that you put them well centered. And then we have to put here this piece. Okay, you can see everything is assembled. It's going in smoothly without any type of problem. Okay, so at this part, the only thing that we need also to put are these things. Okay, this part, these have a positioning that is like that, and always you can test before putting glue is what I recommend to test it. You see that is perfectly inserted. Okay. So now what we can do is the other parts are glued together. Now we can do the assembly. I will not glue them. I will just assemble, because I can take them off in case I need to paint for painting. As you can see, all the parts at this point are quite good reachable, so I don't see any issue. I don't glue them right now, this front, and then for the back, I did the first one and I think it's better not to glue it. I will just put this in position, and you can see that everything is held and it's not falling down easily. So in that way you can see the complete picture, and in case you need to it's easier for you, you can disassemble to glue, to paint. And in that case, this one I in that bike I disassembled to make my life easier in the order to paint that. So the bike is almost done. We have to do the back engine. This has this small cylinder here, so we glue this. Okay. And then put some glue here. And we put this one here. And this can be put here if you don't want to lose it. And I take it, last time, well, this have orientation, sorry. So I will not put because there is some glue, but you see, can go easily inside here. You can see how it looks like. I will not put it because there is some glue here, and I want to avoid that this glue it, because it's much easier to paint it out of the bike. So this is the engine. The weapon, the shuriken cannon. I just take it from the sprue like that, leaving a piece of the sprue. That way I can paint, and I will remove it from the sprue at the last minute, take it separated. And then for this one, we are going to glue. I will complete the cannon. This one goes like that. Okay. And if you have to push it here. Right, in that way I have my two weapons ready to be painted. And the only part remaining is the two small jets or stabilizers. I don't know, it's two parts of the engine. Here you have to be very careful because they have orientation, both are not the same, so check very carefully the numbers. If the bike is facing like that, normally the 14 goes to the right of the bike and the 15 goes to the left of the bike. So we take first one from the sprue, take one by one to be sure that I have the right number. Take first the 14 that goes to the right side of the bike. For me the right side is always this one. So it's the other way around. So the 14 goes here, okay, goes in on so the 14 goes here on the left. I did the other way around, so the 14 goes on the left of the bike. Okay. We'll remove. It's always good to check on the instructions. The instructions are quite clear. Removing the other part from the sprue. Here. Be sure that they are parallel. And the last part that is pending of the bike is the mask that goes on the front. I will, at this moment, I will not glue it to the bike, but I will leave it prepared to be glued in any moment. So I put some glue here. And then this thing like that. This can be cutted if we want to. If you don't cut it, we'll leave this a little bit elevated. I prefer to cut it and have it quarterly. So we have all the pieces here that we don't want to assemble. This can be assembled now. The glue is completely dry. I will not glue it right now, but you can see that all the parts can be placed, and in case you need, you can remove them out. So this is how it's looking like. The bike is ready to do the paint job. This is what I was saying. You put this here. It's not going down. It's a weird thing that you can leave it elevated. I don't like this, so I will cut this pin and put it in. This is an option that they give you when you assemble the bike. So the bike is done, assembled now, and remember this front and the back is not glued, and we keep these parts, also the cannons, out to be painted separately. Now we are going to pass to assemble the glue. When doing the glue, be careful, because there are 4 different fronts, and the pilots are not mixing with the cannot be mixed with the co-pilots or the Artificer. Here what we are going to have is we have 2 types of bags, the bags of the pilots and the bags of the co-pilots, artificers, or how you want to call it them. So first I'm going to assemble the pilot of the bike. In the case is the woman torso. So again, no follow the instructions. The numbers are very clear. A little bit sometimes be careful on the numeration on on the sprue because you can get confused. But yeah, it's normally this is the body. You see that you can distinguish the backs because on the case of the pilot, the bell is on the front. As you can see here, the bell was part of the front part of the torso. Okay, when we go to the other one, the bell is part of the back. Okay, so what I do is I cut this and then I will not glue the hands, so I wait until this is a little bit dry to glue the legs, but for the hands or the arms as you want it, I will take them together with the sprue. Okay, that way these are the hands of the pilot. That way I can assemble them in the last minute. Why? Because I want to be sure that the hands are matching with the handle of the bike. So if you assemble now, you're risking that it's not matching. So you want to glue this at the same time that you are gluing or positioning the pilot on the bike. This is why I don't glue the hands. And then we are going to do the legs. And here again, the legs of the pilot, you have to be careful, are the legs are the number 28 and 27. Are these ones, these are the ones I'm going to use, is the ones positioned in that part. Okay. And we glue them together too. Too much glue, so I will remove a little bit of the glue. And I like to glue them directly to the torso to be sure that everything is matching perfectly and to have a good bonding. So even though it's still a little bit too fresh, I put some glue and I glue the torso. This is the problem, but I like to be sure that it's flat and I don't have any issue later on. Okay, now put it aside to wait that this is completely dry. With the hands and the head, I will not glue neither. I like to paint the heads separated from the body. So yes. So in the case of the heads, I counted there to do about 9 different type of heads. So in that case, I will use one of the heads, one of the common heads, and then I will use the mask that have like the demon looking. This is going to be the mask for the pilot. I will try, I'm doing 4 bikes in total for my masquerade at this moment, for my force, so I will do 4 different heads. So this whole matching, and now the pilot is done and we can go to do the artificer. Of the copilot, it's more a copilot than artificer because there is no cannon here. So I will use the one that has the tail. For the head, I'm starting from the head just to be sure that I'm doing different heads for everyone. And I will use this mask. Okay, give it to the side. Now we are going to do the body. So in the case of the co-pilot, as I said, the bell, you know the back because the bell is on the back, and it's the same back for the both co-pilots of the two bikes that come in the kit. So we glue this together. You can see I'm doing the two women together and the two men together. The case, the legs. Here we just ensure that it's flat and we wait until this is dry before gluing to the body. And then, as you can see, I cut the two weapons. This is one and the other. This is the Star Bola's hand. Here we have to glue it, but because I need to manipulate this, I will do this later on. So at this point, I stop and I need to wait until the glue is completely dry before doing the last step in the assembly. So now that the glue is dry on the bottom here, what we are going to do is to try to work to make the weapons exchangeable. So as you can see, this one glue like that. So we are going to put a small pin, and then instead of doing using a magnet, due to the small size of this part, I'm going to use like a pinning system. So what I did is I will drill a hole here. This is a tricky one because we want to drill this slipping down. So we are going to drill a hole. Be careful not to. Okay. Then I will use a small piece, this from a paper clip. And I will check that I can insert this here. Like that. Okay, so this can be inserted. I will glue this with super glue into this part of the arm. So use, because it's this metal, so the only way to glue it is using super glue. I'm going to use we're going to put this pin here. Okay. We're going to do the same on the other weapon, on the other arm. Again, the same difficulty. This is not flat. And why I'm gluing on the arm and not on the, be careful, and not on the body, because I cannot go very deep into the arm, so the pin is not working very well. So due to the positioning and this type of slope that we have in the arm. So I go in, and I have my piece here prepared. I put some glue. We glue it here. Okay. Now we are going to do the hole here on the torso. So the hole will go somewhere here. So we take the drill, we do a deep hole here we have more space to do the hole. Should be enough, and now we check. Okay. You see, the arm can be placed in position. So you have this, you go in and you place the arm in position. You need to magnetize. We're going to check the other one. Again, can be placed in position. We have to be careful that it's matching correctly. If it's not working perfectly, we need to put some green stuff later on the arm. Okay, so this is how I'm going to work them to make them exchangeable. Then we finalize here the assembly. The only part that it's missing is just to glue the legs together, and this will be the last part. Take this out. So we just glue these together. The legs. Okay, we let it dry and we are ready to start doing the paint job. So next part are going to be the paint job on the bike, and I will start explaining how I do all the work that I did in that bike, how to do this diamond pattern, the mask, the gems. So the gems is more or less the same, and I will focus on the bike because the work that we have to do on the crew is the same that we will do. The work that I'm doing on the crew is the same that I do on the troops. So that's all for this part of the tutorial, and I see you soon in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. See you later. Bye.